Do you struggle with learning a new language? In this video, I will highlight some common bad habits that might hold you back. Hi everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel, Monvie. So let's get started. Waiting for a long period of time to start speaking. You can learn a language for a very long period of time, consume plenty of information, watch series, read books, listen to music, to podcasts, etc. In other words, focus just on input, but without output, you will not be able to become fluent in any language. You'll be able to understand, but when it will come to a conversation, you will not reply. Of course, it depends on your goal, but here I'm talking about those people who just wait and think that maybe it's not the best time for starting to speak. They need to learn one more grammar tense, those 10 words, and only after this they will be allowed to speak. To be honest, I was the same with English. I was waiting for several months until I started speaking and saying just simple phrases. Even with French, my third foreign language, I was waiting for 6 months to start speaking. And how surprised I was when I started just to speak to myself, and I was like, wow, I can speak in French, really? I think that I could already speak in 3 months of learning French, but I was so convinced that this language is different from Spanish, just because I wasn't understanding everything that I heard during watching natives on YouTube. I thought that I can't speak, but you can think like that for a very long period of time, and you will never find it out until you will try. And you probably can also speak this language, but you just never tried, and you continue thinking that you can't, but the only thing that you need to do is just to try. You need to understand this one thing. And to be frank, I also had to understand it back then. You can speak fluently but have problems with understanding texts or listening, and vice versa. That's okay. You understand those movies better than you can speak just because you prioritize watching those movies. You do that on a regular basis. But as for speaking, you almost never practice speaking, so for sure you will not be able to speak fluently. You should start from yourself. Just choose any topic and discuss it with yourself. You don't even need any other person. Talk to yourself. No matter how stupid it can seem to you, you improve your language. Other things, they don't matter. When you will start speaking, you'll be able to analyze what level do you have and to see your actual improvements. Even if now you can't maintain a normal conversations, from simple phrases, you will get to that. But what you really need is a consistent practice. It's the main thing. Spending time on searching how to learn a language instead of learning. This one is so tricky. Most of the people even never start learning something new because they just continue looking for new information. It seems to them that if they already spent 2 hours on searching videos how to learn English, they've already learned it. But it's not. They just wasted their time. You don't learn anything, and it goes not only to languages. When you just look for resources, videos with explanations, videos about that one magic method, how can you learn English just for 3 weeks? You need to stop doing this and just to start learning this language. Of course, it's easy when you just search and don't put any effort, but it's not what you need. Oh, and I can say that usually after this searching process, most of the people just give up on learning a language. If I can call it learning, as they didn't even reach that point, but anyway, they make it harder for themselves. As they have so many resources, they don't know where to start, what to choose. So what's the best way in this situation? For sure, just to give up and prioritize other things, as you already have something to do in your life, and that language can wait. And no matter that in a year you will go abroad and you will need to use it, who cares? Who cares, right? You've already tried and you didn't succeed. So if you are already in this certain process for a certain period of time, you just need to stop. Choose from 3 to 5 methods from this list and start learning plenty of languages simultaneously. It may seem that you save your time, but let's get back to that question. Why do you learn all these languages? I'm not sure that you need to learn 4 languages until next year, like for what? So in other words, you learn just for learning or for boasting among others with an amount of languages you know. But you don't actually know them, as you will not be able to maintain a normal conversation in all of them. Is this what you need? If yes, okay, go on. But on this channel, I share advice on how not just to learn a language, but also how to use it daily in talks with people. However, in which cases it's even beneficial to learn several languages at once. Firstly, when you already have a stable level in one of them, so you can move to another one. And secondly, when you have separate goals for them, but be careful with relatable languages. For example, Spanish and French, Italian and Portuguese. If you will learn them at once from zero, they will be mixed in your head, and for sure you will not get any result. For instance, once I met a girl online who said to me that she's learning 5 foreign languages, and her first foreign language she started to learn 6 months ago. Do you believe that she knows all these languages? I think that she doesn't even know that first one properly, as she didn't have enough time to learn it and she just moved to another one. So this jumping from one language to another one will never bring you to a result, and you will just give up on all of them. Personally, I learn Spanish and French simultaneously now, but firstly, I already have a high and stable level in Spanish. Secondly, I started learning French after 2 years of learning Spanish, so I wasn't learning them both at the beginning. And now, of course, Spanish helps me hugely with learning French because these 2 languages, they are from the same language group. And thirdly, I spent much more time on learning French. As for Spanish, I just maintain my level daily by watching series, talking to people, reading something, etc. Avoiding grammar. Okay, you watch videos on YouTube, you read something, you learn new vocab, you even speak somehow. But do you really think that without grammar, you'll become fluent? I don't mean to spend all your time and efforts on grammar, of course not. But you need to include it into your study plan. You will not be able to speak correctly as you don't know a correct sentence structure and tenses. There is no need to open those old grammar books with 500 pages of useless information. You can find only that information that you need. For example, present perfect, search for explanations. You can even ask ChatGPT and then do some exercises. That's easy. It's not such a big deal. By avoiding grammar, you make your learning journey easier at the beginning, but difficult and confusing then. As for me, I started learning grammar in each of my languages from the first days because I want to speak correctly and understand why this phrase is written specifically like this. For sure, grammar is not only about tenses, but I dedicate enough time to that as it's more difficult and it really has to be learned. Other rules you can even get during learning without any extra explanation. However, if you don't know formulas, usage examples, and exceptions, you will not go that far in learning this language. And after these words, I just remind this situation. When I was speaking with a Spanish person and I was boasting with the amount of knowledge that I have in Spanish. So I said that I know this tense and this one, and he said, please stop this. I don't know what are you talking about because I don't know the names of all these tenses. Like, I just speak this language, it's my native language, so I don't need to learn that. And it's such a funny situation, you know, like we as foreign learners, we try to learn everything, all those grammar, tenses, vocabulary, and natives, they are so relaxed and they are so amazed when you're talking about all this journey that you want just to learn this language. But at the same time, I can say that some people who learn a certain language for a very long period of time, they can even speak in it better grammatically, than natives, because natives don't know all the grammar rules. No one knows everything, but we as foreign learners, we know more than natives. It's just a fact. And one more thing that I wanted to add. If you don't need that grammar, you understand that for your goal, for example, for reading books or for watching series, you don't need it. You can avoid it. Like, I don't say that everyone should learn grammar. No, I'm talking about those people who want to communicate and they continue saying that I can live without this grammar. I don't need it. Okay. And how are you supposed to speak correctly? Of course, if you live around natives and you talk to them every single day, you can avoid the grammar. But if you are in your country, you don't even have people who know that language that you learn, you need to learn grammar. It's, like basic knowledge. Without it, you will not be able to speak correctly. So it always depends on a situation and on your goal. Learning words out of context. If you think that by learning all those lists with words, you improve your language, well, it's not actually true. Or apps like Duolingo, when they just give you a translated version of a word and you need to say it in original. You don't even know how to use this word as they don't give you an example. You just learn all these words by heart as that poem in school that you will forget in 2 days. So as you need to improve your vocab for fluency, firstly, learn only target vocab, and secondly, learn it in context. As in conversation, you hear all these words in context. No one will say to you just random words out of context, because it will not make any sense. You will not understand anything. The same situation here. Learn them in context. You watch a movie and you heard a new word or phrase. Write it down to your flashcards in the context of that phrase that you heard. Or you can of course come up with your own example. It will be even better. But don't write one single word, because in 5 minutes you will already forget about the context, and next time when you will review these flashcards, you'll be just puzzled. What does this word mean? You don't know the context of it. It's just one single word and that's all. For instance, one word, awesome. Write it in your flashcards as an awesome dress, or you can make it even longer. She's wearing an awesome dress tonight. And after this, there is no chance that you'll forget this word, because you already have this connection. You know how to use it in context. But of course, if you will revise it in time, because words in your flashcards don't make any sense if you never ever open your flashcards app. Lack of consistency. This one is a bit obvious, but I couldn't skip it, as consistency is everything in language learning. You can even notice how difficult it is for you to understand or speak in a language that you learn if you skip several days or weeks of learning. Of course, it depends on your level in language. For example, with Spanish and English, now I have more freedom, and if I will not learn them or have any connections during 1 or 2 weeks, I will not forget them, as my knowledge in them is stable. When I was abroad, it was several weeks ago, I was using English and Spanish daily, and thanks to this, I didn't need to read anything or to watch. I was using these 2 languages in my day-to-day life, like with other people, so I had these connections. If you are a beginner, consistency is crucial. New information takes plenty of time to integrate into your brain before you will start using it automatically. That's why even when you're busy and you understand that you will not be able to learn this language, plan to use this language at least somehow, to have one connection, to read something, to listen to, like music, to watch an episode, but you need to do that consistently, because it's a new language. It's new information in your brain. Just recall those daily connections which I talk to you almost in each video, from 5 to 10 minutes daily when you're busy, and you will keep in touch with this language. That's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you soon in my next videos. Bye!